Now we can start. So how you doing today? What do you have planned for the weekend? Let's see. We've got the 777 Club meeting this Sunday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time for you folks. You want to know more about what the 777 Club is? I'll post a link in the comments, but if you go to the website, so you know what, I need to get a prompter so that I can just type in and flip it up on the bottom of the screen. I'll figure that out. So go to healingcenter.ca and you'll see the link to the 777 Club, or of course you've probably seen postings on it on Facebook and things like this. Also, if you want to know anything, just shoot me a message. If you have a topic that you would like me to discuss, if you have a topic you'd like to discuss, love to have you on the show. I'm just working out the technical details for bringing folks in for interviews, and we can interview. I want to find there's lots of tools, but I want to find the best tool, the most overhead light tool, and things like that. It was interesting that I think maybe the whole finally Friday thing, or the fantastic finally, or thank God it's Friday, and all that kind of stuff. It might have triggered the topic for. We're going to bring Mr. Flipchart in for this for today's show. Maybe for most of the show, actually, because Source kind of downloaded. That's so new agey. But I guess it's kind of true. I was gonna put it in the just as a status, but of course I was busy reconfiguring everything so it would work when we needed it to, so I didn't. But the topic for this teaching using Mr. Flipchart is, are you Rumpelstiltskin? And you know what? With further ado, let's just bring in Mr. Flipchart. And here is Mr. Flipchart. Hold on a sec. And it's okay if you are, right? It's totally cool. It's really interesting how, okay. I got to get my source button so when source shows up, it can be like a doorbell or something. So it's really interesting how temporary can become permanent. And it fits in with the topic of today and the whole Rumpelstiltskin thing. And it's really a nice flow. So yesterday's topic, and actually last week or the day before. So if you go to YouTube channel, so you video.healingcenter.ca, or go to healingcenter.ca, you can link to it. I've been talking about kind of the transition that's been happening now, talking about how the kind of the building. So many of you have watched the show. I won't review it again. You can check the archives, go to Healing, like I said, the YouTube channel, and find it out. That I was talking about yesterday and even the day before. Very powerful message yesterday. I encourage you to go check it out. Go to my profile. I posted it again, or the YouTube channel so it'll be May 27th. And what I was talking about was, it used to be, although it's changed now, it used to be that we had all these parameters in place. It's like a sphere or a fishbowl. The belief systems, the societal belief systems, on and on and on, that basically you could be born, live, and die and not have to think, because you've got all these structures that tell you what to think, what to do, how to do it, when to do it, what's right, what's wrong, what's smart, what's dumb, on and on and on. And of course, those are falling away, which presents an opportunity for us to level up, if you will, with an expediency that we probably haven't seen for a long, long time. I am just something here. Oh, it's busy. Oh, it's streaming. Never mind. I was going to bump the contrast stuff, but we're good. That we maybe haven't seen that we haven't seen for probably in our lifetimes. And it's an opportunity to level up. But again, it's an opportunity, not an ultimatum. So we get to choose what we're going to do. So how does that, okay. So what is it? Here's my here. What is it before? What was it before? There's a lot of information coming in right now. What was it before? And what is it now? And what kind of, again, this picture that popped in my mind, we probably all know people that you know exactly where they'll be, pretty much what they're doing on the Monday, on the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they basically repeat the same week, to use that as a time frame, over and over and over again. I know people, right? Not saying it's right, wrong, or otherwise, but it's really insidious how temporary can become permanent. And the thing is, I'm just going to do this for a while. This is just temporary because here's my dream. Here's what I'm growing into. And this is just temporary. It's just temporary. And then a day goes by, a week goes by, a month goes by, a year goes by. And we essentially become Rumpelstiltskin and we fall asleep. But in so many respects, are we really happy? Because what we essentially do is, again, almost one of the most insidious things we can do is settle for mediocrity, is allowing that temporary to become permanent. And it's so easy because it's so subtle. Again, before you know it, day goes by, week goes by, and it becomes routine. So then what happens is, so your subconscious goes, okay, because your subconscious is always learning, right? It's always learning. Therefore, it can relearn, right? But your subconscious is always learning. And so you do this routine enough. I was watching Bob Proctor yesterday, and he was talking about the value, the critical value of repetition. And he was talking, there was an article or something he was studying that he says, I've been studying this for like 3 days or whatever, just reading it over and over and over again. Because he says you get something new every time. And through repetition, you're actually kind of causing that to seep into, you're teaching your subconscious is what you're doing through repetition. Then, of course, when you attach emotion to it, that expedites the whole thing. That'll probably find its way into the teaching topic here. And so that repetition happens, and then our subconscious goes, oh, okay, I got it. This is what you do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, on and on and on. And so now I'll take care of it. So then what happens is your subconscious starts to be the one that basically pre-chooses the thoughts you'll think and what you're going to do today and then tomorrow and the day after and day after, because you've taught it that way. And then essentially you can become Rumpelstiltskin and fall asleep. But what's happening is people have been woken up, whether they like it or not. And let's flip back to the flip chart. Okay. So what color do I have here? No, you're going to work for me, right? My fabulous Friday, fantastic Friday is going to work for me. Here, just let me get rid of this. Otherwise, you're going to hear clicking and clacking all over the place. So think of this as where you're currently at. So this is the current, I'm going to say, experience. I need to do this. You know what? I need to do this somewhat legibly because this is going to be more of a formal teaching here. So this is your current experience. Oh, are you overheating on me? Nope, it's cool. We're good. This is your current experience. It's kind of jerky, but we're going to go with it. And this is you. Right, your I am. Yeah, it's still on the screen. Your I am higher self, the you that's you. And you're in this current experience, and you sort of just live this current experience over and over and over. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but it becomes that routine over and over and over. Or you could also say it becomes your normal, right? It becomes your normal. And as I said, your subconscious, those belief systems, those big buildings, those structures, those external people, places, things, and events that create essentially the walls or this track, this level that you're on, and you just kind of go round and round and round. And again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but you tend to go round and around And because it's around and around and around, you can essentially fall asleep and you just keep going around and around and around. Mary Jo always says it's like Groundhog Day, especially this last whatever many months, right? Now it's like the same day over and over and over again. And it's so easy, deceptively easy to fall asleep and just live the same thing over and over and over again. Now, there's two problems with that. So, the first problem is you're not designed to live that same experience over and over and over again. You're designed for your experience to grow and expand and evolve. An experience is not a resting place, it's just a momentarily stopping place. It's like you're going on a holiday and you're going, I want to check out this site, this whatever. So you go, oh wow, that's amazing, that's really cool, that's really fun. And then you want to go on to the next one. I mean, this is really good, I really enjoy it, but I don't want to stay here. I want to move on. One of the things I really, really enjoy about traveling, and when it comes back, I will, is I'm never in one spot for a long time. So I get there, it's fresh and explore, and it's all cool. And then I move on to the next one. And then I move on to the next one. Now, why is it? That's interesting. Source is flowing strongly now. Why is it that that seems to be part of who we are? Because we're designed to experience contrast, grow into a new expression of ourselves, enjoy it, experience contrast, grow into another expression of ourselves. So this is what's designed to happen. This is all cool. What color do I have? This is cool and this is fine. We like that. But we're never designed to stay there because there's another experience right here. So this is your current experience. And this is the one you're designed to grow into. Here, I'm just going to adjust this a little bit. I got a fan behind this there, keep her cool. This is the one you're designed to grow into. You were never designed to stay here. You were designed to grow up into here. And so this is why trying to settle is such a lose-lose situation, because no matter how much you try and settle, no matter how much you would just as soon fall asleep and stay there, Source is not going to allow you to do that. And Source is going to do whatever it has to wake you up, which is what we're seeing happening, and not just us, so many other folks as well. What we're seeing happening in this last, especially year and change, is people have been forced to wake up, whether they like it or not. Some of them would just as soon stay asleep. But because you are designed to grow and expand and evolve, Source is not going to let you stay that way for too long. And it has a bit of a sliding scale that it uses. See if I remember this. It's been a long time since I visited this one. Has a sliding scale that it uses to help keep things flowing. And on one end, it's inspiration. So the first option of Source, and here I am, right, is to be inspired to grow. So is to be inspired. So the first option is to be inspired to grow. That's Source's first option. Now, if that doesn't work, Source moves from inspiration into irritation, into frustration. So it kind of is amping up the discomfort, right? Because Source's first desire is to have this be growing into pleasure, right? It's like, oh, this would be really neat and amazing. And then you grow into that. You're inspired to grow into it. But it will keep, if it has to, it'll keep moving down that scale, move, all the way to annihilation if it has to get you to move, to get you to not stay asleep here, to get you to wake up. And that's a lot of what's been happening. That's a lot of what's been happening in this last while here is there's been this massive shakeup where people have been woken up. Many who didn't want to wake up, but they've been woken up because Source will not let you sit idle for too long. And I think that's so important. Is the contrast now is crazy obvious. You've heard me say this too. It's like the contrast again is the 50 shades of gray, like black, white, 50 shades of gray in the middle. 50 shades of gray are gone. It's now black or white. So I'm just making up colors here, black and white. So now that's very obvious, right? So people have woken up. And so they're very aware of this and they're very aware of this, whether they realize it or not. Now, when that happens, again, you've got contrast. And you feel that contrast in your body. See? So it's like inspiration is the first option, but that contrast gets greater and greater and greater and greater and greater. And people just, they're having one hell of a time falling back asleep again. Because this is here, whether they realize it or not, this is here. So what is the this? Well, the this is your next stage, the next step for you. This is where this is really good. This is where all those dreams, those desires that you maybe even forgot that you desired. So here's what often happens. People experience that. They experience the lusciousness. They experience, oh yes, of that revelation of the next step in your growth. That next life experience just calling you to that greater expression of you. And they experience that. Oh, so they experience this. They experience this and it's just amazing and magnificent. And when they do that, this is amplified. Whoops, I got my eraser thing on. When they do that, this is amplified. So they feel that contrast, which brings them to the point of decision. See, because the 50 Shades of Grey is gone. So that isn't here anymore. Right? It's not a volume control. You can turn it up, you can turn it down. It's a switch that's either here or here. You either choose this or you choose this. And so often they try and choose this. Here's the trouble with that. I'm not sure. Well, the Matrix. First Matrix. I think it was the first Matrix. When Neo's talking to Morpheus, Neo's woken up. And can't remember the exact phrases, but basically Neo is saying to Morpheus, he says, so I can't go back, can I? Like, because Neo's been woken up. Right? He says, I can't go back, can I? And Morpheus said, would you even if you could? Now here's the problem with what's going on right now. People have been woken up. They've become aware of the next step for them. Those dreams, those desires that were maybe sitting gathering dust in the closet are now out in the light. And it introduces contrast, which requires them to make a decision. A decision, this is really good, a decision to step into the unknown. And what is the unknown? The unknown is right there. The unknown is right here. To leave this, entering into this. And they go, no, I want to stay asleep. I just want to stay here. I know it's not great. I know it's not what I really want. I know. But what I also know is I can never experience this. And so I would just as soon forget that it was even there. Because that knowing of what's possible, and then the contrast comes to reassure me that it's impossible, that contrast just hurts too much. So I would just rather go back to sleep. But here's the sucky part about that. once you've felt what that feels like, you can't unfeel it, no matter what you do. That's the issue. That's the problem. Once you felt what that expansion feels like, what you felt what that next level feels like, even if you maybe haven't moved up there, but you felt it. And that's the thing. You can feel it before you see it. Well, that was really good. Okay. So this next level, right? This is what you're growing into. This is where you're at, right? You might not be able to see it because you're still here, but you can feel it. This is a really valuable key, because what's going to happen is, oh, sorry, I'm going to bounce back again. Right in. Oh, I've got stuff all over the place. I'll see if I can make some sense of this for you guys. So these guys here, right? Those belief systems, societal belief systems, all that kind of stuff that want to keep you here, want to keep you here. So when you start to feel this, you really notice that contrast. So you might not be able to feel this or see this yet, but you can feel this. You can feel that within you. You can feel that now tugging and generating momentum and building inside you. And right now, because so many of the things that held that container in place are falling apart, right now, there isn't that weighing you down. And so that pull, this is really good because I didn't plan on saying this. That pull to that next expression of you, you're noticing it even stronger. Because again, those things that were holding you in place, keeping you asleep, aren't there anymore. Those external structures that were designed to keep you right where you were at, designed to keep you asleep, are not there anymore. To lull you into that complacency, to lull you into settling, to lull you into over and over and over, they're not there anymore. And now that brilliant, bright light of the next expression of you has woken you up. And you cannot go back to sleep, because those people, places, things, and events, those structures, those systems, all that kind of stuff is now laying in shambles. So there's nothing to lull you back to sleep except for you. And because you're not designed to go back to sleep, you're kind of screwed. So what's your only option? Well, you really do have only one option, and that's to surrender to the next greatest expression of who you are. Okay, so that was really valuable. You see, to get from that one level to the next one, it's not a ladder that you have to climb. You don't even have to kind of fumble your way through that unknown between the two, because so much of that confusion of the unknown was created by the belief systems that were designed to keep you where you're at. You see, so often those belief systems were designed to introduce confusion to clarity. Because if you can be confused, you can stay asleep. But when there's that clarity, then you're awake and there's nothing you can do about it. So what do? Well, you don't have to climb the ladder, because you're designed to grow into that next expression of yourself. Surrender. What are you surrendering to? You're surrendering to the new you. Because the process of going, I've got stuff all over. Well, no, this will work. The process of going from here to here happens this way. You're observing this. We talked about that. And you receive that knowingness. What's next? That feeling. Those sort of remembrances of visions, fantasies, daydreams, all that stuff that when you were here, and you still are because you haven't grown yet, you still are, seems absolutely impossible, which is why you discount them outright. You see, that's the thing, is this next expression of you is by design, not designed to make sense. It's designed to feel crazy. It feels really, it's designed to seem crazy. It feels really good, but it seems crazy. Your logic says it's crazy. Why? Because your logic is down here, not up here, at least not right now. So by definition, this next expression of you, if you look at it from a logical perspective, will seem crazy. Why? Because this will not fit into this. There is a logic up here. This makes all the sense in the world, but it won't make sense to you right now because you're still down here. So there's the contrast. There's the angst. There's that process that it feels really good and it just feels awful all at the same time. Okay, so how do we get this down to here? Well, we don't do it that way. How do we bring this into here? Well, it's not even so much about bringing this into here, because then what we're trying to do is we're trying to take this new expression and somehow fit it into the old one. The old one is essentially dead. I'm not saying everything disappears, but the old one and the construct of it essentially is dead. It's done. So to try and bring that new one into the old one, it just won't work. Like my whole thing is size 10 feet in size 8 shoes, right? It just doesn't work. So what do you have to do? And this is the really cool thing about this. And this is where the normals will look at you and have their suspicions confirmed that you're batshit crazy. Because when you surrender to this good feeling, even though it doesn't make sense, even though sometimes that good feeling has almost a whiplash effect of pain, what's happening? This is process is started. But where is the process happening? It's not happening here. It's happening right there. You see, the change doesn't happen here. The change happens here. So when I say you're designed to grow and expand and evolve, this is where you're designed to grow and expand and evolve. So what you're doing is this. All those, isn't that interesting? It changes the color on the screen. Huh. So that growth that is happening is in you. This new world, if you will, is here waiting for you. It's waiting for you to elevate or allow yourself to be elevated up to it. And that's what so much of this last however many months has been about. Been about essentially two things, really two sides to the same picture. It's about allowing those aspects of it that don't serve you anymore, to essentially die or to fall away. Introducing those experiences, those practices, like #want to feel good, which will cause your vibration to raise, which will bring you up to this level of the new and next expression of you. So once again, we're not trying to change this out. We are changing this in here. That's why all these things, your spiritual practice that I talk about, the tools, the techniques, I mean, that's a huge piece of what the 777 Club is all about, based on the 5 steps of manifesting, about consciously working through that process. Because, I mean, underneath everything, there's that powerful surrender, especially now, because that draw is so strong. You don't have to do a whole lot other than give up. Right? Just surrender to the process and it'll carry you up, because again, so many of these obstacles that we have to navigate through have kind of fallen away. So the 5-step process is even more efficient because we don't have near as many obstacles that we got to worry, that we got to focus on fixing or navigating our way through. And so we can just kind of flow on up. Really, in so many ways, your job right now is to choose to feel the lusciousness of the unbelievable. Your job right now is to choose to feel that lusciousness, the unbelievable, and surrender to that feeling. So many respects, that's your job. Is to surrender to yourself. Surrender to the next greatest expression of you. The worst thing in the world is mediocrity. Worse than death when you think about it. To settle. To try and fit yourself into a world that just doesn't serve you anymore. Rather than trying to change the world that doesn't serve you anymore, or trying to fit into it, which is such a no-win, rather than trying to change that, allow yourself to change, to grow and expand and evolve, and then you'll just enter into a new expression of you, which is already there waiting for you. I think that's the thing. I'll close with this very spiritual metaphor, I guess, if you will. A department store. On the first floor of the department store is ratty old furniture, like really ratty old furniture. And the second floor is a furniture that was ratty and old, but it's been repaired, so it's not so bad. And then the next floor is like the high-end custom stuff. And you're on the first floor looking at the ratty furniture. You look around and you go, this is like really crappy furniture. I want some new furniture, but this doesn't look good at all. You notice contrast. Now, the fixed up furniture and the custom furniture, those floors are there right now. But all you see is the ratty furniture. Now, you could go and try and somehow change the ratty furniture, but the ratty furniture is the ratty furniture. You don't get the fancy furniture on the first floor. You get the fancy custom stuff on the third floor. So stop trying to look for custom furniture on the first floor. And sure as hell don't settle for the ratty furniture if you don't want the ratty furniture. So what are you going to do? You go up to the next floors. That's what you're doing. Is you're allowing your vibration to go up and up and up. So now you're on the floor where there's custom furniture and you go, wow, look at all this custom furniture. This is some nice stuff. Now, is the floor with the ratty furniture still there? Absolutely. But you're not. See, that's the thing. I talk about this for a while. It's not about renovating an existing house, because the house, you've renovated as much as you can. You got to tear the existing house down and build a whole brand new one. Because sometimes that old house has been as renovated and patched up as you can get. And now the only thing to do is tear that house down, shore up the foundation, and build a new one. Topic of the show yesterday. Not about changing this existing world. It's about allowing yourself elevate and step into a greater expression of you, and then the world changes, or more accurately, you enter your expression of this world that is a totally different one than the one you just left. Never about changing out here. It's about changing in here, which causes you to experience something brand new, the greater expression of. And that's what you're designed to do. And that's the phase we're in right now. Your job is to surrender, let go, surrender, allow the greater expression of you to come forth. Oops, that was good. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it. I probably won't do a show Saturday and Sunday, so you'll see me on Monday. Share. We're all in this together. Comments or questions, you can comment here. You can message me. Any topics you would like to have me discuss about, anything you would like to discuss. If you've started a new business in this genre, love to have you on the show for interviews. That would be just perfect. A big piece of what my focus is helping you guys grow. Always has been. It seems like even more so is to doing whatever I can, offering whatever I've learned along the way to support you guys into growing into the next expression of who you are. Thanks so much for tuning in. You have a wonderful rest of the day, Friday, a great weekend. If you're part of the 777 Club, I'll see you Sunday night. For the rest of you, I'll see you Monday.